What is up, guys? Oxalato Ben Soy. Pai Gio Vogon here, back with another video today, guys. And today, we're going to be taking things a little bit left field. Today, guys, we're not going to be talking about Umbanda, but we're going to talk about my other banda, my other religion, being Kimbanda. Alright? Now, Kimbanda as Umbanda, they have different branches. However, Kimbanda is more distinct. It's more like Candomblé in a sense of different sub-religions. My Kimbanda, I learned Kimbanda Nago, which is a different type of Kimbanda. Alright, I'm going to be reading off the notes that I have here. Bear with me. It takes a while to translate in my mind. So, let's kick it off with what is Kimbanda, right? So, Kimbanda Nago is a combination of certain magics. Alright? It's a combination, mostly of Candomblé, European magic, American magic, being Native American magic, and it takes a lot of African culture as well, being Bantu, Nagoya Roba, and also taking some influence from Candomblé, all right, and also Brazilian magic, being the Native Americans again, all right. And Kimbanda, they really don't work with spirits the way Umbanda does. In certain ways they do, in certain ways they don't. Okay, Kimbanda, like I said, is left field. Kimbanda, they really don't look up to God at all. And a lot of people might ask me, but Gio, that's complete blasphemy. You don't. How do you worship God, but you don't at the same time? So listen, Umbanda is my main religion, but I have Kimbanda in my back pocket. You know, just like people practice voodoo, they practice Kimbanda. People practice voodoo and then they practice Umbanda. Whatever they do is on them. Okay. For me, I was born in my right hand, blessed with healing. My left hand blessed with cursed with black magic. So I kind of have to play devil's advocate and God's advocate at the same time. But I try using both my talents, both of my blessings, to help people, not to hurt people. So Umbanda, they look up to. Really, we look up to 3 divinities. Give me 1 second. The 3 divinities off the top of my head are, because I can't find them here, are Lucifer, Astaroth, and Beelzebub. All right, the actual 3, what Christianity will call demons: Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Astaroth. Okay. Now, this is where each Kimbanda is different. Each Kimbanda is practiced and cultivated different, okay? This is my Kimbanda Nago, how I was taught and how we practice it, okay? So, we simulate Ishu Hay, Ishu King, as Ishu Lucifer, okay? Ishu Mor as Ishu Beelzebub, or as Beelzebub, I'm sorry. And Ishu King of the 7 Crossroads as a demon Astaroth. However, each temple is different. For example, I kind of stray away from my teaching a little bit because of my, how do you say, my, I don't know if this is the correct word in English, but my necessities, my situation, okay? So I work with, for example, Ishu Lucifer. Okay, Ishu Lucifer was once, of course, Lucifer, but there's not just one Lucifer, there's not just one Satan, there's various demons that fall under the name of Lucifer, Morning Star, okay? It's like there's various demons that fall under the name Beelzebub, and there's legions and legions of these demons calling themselves Lucifer and Beelzebub. There's one original, and then there's everyone else that calls themselves that, but they have the same story. Most of them have the same story. Most of them have the same powers. Most of them have everything similar, okay? Now, Ishu Lucifer, Ishu Beelzebub, and Ishu Astaroth, each of them have their own stories. However, from my understanding, speaking with them directly, they were once demons that they converted somewhat to spirituality, okay, and work under the moniker of Ishu. That does not mean that they've completely changed. No, they still have every demonic and angelic power that they had, but they now work under Kimbanda as Ishu. All right. Like here it says Ishu Hay, Ishu Mor, and Ishu Hay das Sete Cruzadas. Ishu King, Ishu Mor, Ishu King of the 7 Crossroads. We also cultivate these Ishus, but my temple we cultivate the actual issue Lucifer, the actual issue Beelzebub, and the actual issue Astaroth. It's very rare for you to see these issues anywhere you go. And each house, they cultivate them differently. Kimbanda and Umbanda, and Candomblé as well, they're like an umbrella, okay? Underneath, it could be completely different, okay? Think of it like this, right? Think of Kimbanda being a house, and Nago, Kimbanda Nago, being one of the rooms, right? And let's see what else. Kimbanda Bantu being another room, okay? Kimbanda Jirere being another room. Just like with Candomblé, you have over 30 different types of Candomblés. They all practice differently, okay? At the end of the day, we have to set our goals and what we want and how we're going to achieve it, okay? No one is right, no one is wrong, okay? If we're all going to judge and say each other's religion is wrong, then what will we accomplish at the end of the day? I think it's much more important for us to work towards our spiritual journey and our spiritual goals than it is to degrade people and demean people and say, hey, your religion is wrong, my religion is right, because you're just going to waste energy fighting all day. Because you're going to list your points on, for example, why Wicca is better than Candomblé or why Candomblé is better than Umbanda, and it's just going to be a constant conflict. That's why I teach all my students, all my godchildren, listen, our religion, even though we believe it's right, it's for us to believe. We don't have to force our beliefs into others. If others want to ask us, we can explain to them what our religion is. But we're not here to force anything. We're here to teach if we can and help people. Okay? So, we have, just like in Umbanda, they have different lines of spirits and different lines of issue. Kimbanda differs a little bit. So, the first line, all right, the first line is called Linha Malay. There's no really translation for it. Line of Malay. The chief of it is Ishu Hey, Ishu King, or Asmodeus. Okay, again, a lot of ties with Satanism, a lot of ties with demonology. Okay, so there's 7 lines. Okay, that fall under Asmodee. All right, every line has its chief. Okay. So this line, they're the ones in Kimbanda that put everyone in line. Okay, they're the ones responsible for the other issues. Okay, they're the ones that decide what goes on in the astral plane when it comes to issues. Not just them, but every issue. We're talking about over 30,000 issues, over 50,000 issues. Okay. Yeah, so think of them as being the High Council. It's very rare for you to see these issues working on Earth, and if you do see them, please respect them. Of course, all issues should be respected, but these should be the utmost respect. Think of them as the board of directors, as the High Council. Okay, of course, there's always someone on top of them, being Ishu Mayoral or Ishu Hey, Asmodee, and Lucifer. However, these are the 7 issues and the 1 Pomajira that are part of the quote unquote High Council. Okay, the first one is of course Issue Rei das Sete Cruzilhadas, and Issue Rei das Sete Cruzilhadas, like we said before, is Astaroth. Okay, the second one is Issue Marabô. Now, funny thing about Issue Marabô is he has so much responsibility that he actually opens and closes the doors for issues to come to Earth. Okay, and without Issue Marabô, no issue can be on Earth. That's something a little bit interesting. The third one, you have Issue Mangueira. The fourth one, Issue Tranca Rua das Almas. So Issue Tranca Rua das Almas translates to, of course, Issue Locks Paths, but Issue Lock Paths of Souls. Okay. The fifth one we have is Issue Chiriri. The sixth one is Issue Veludo. The 7th is Issue Hughes. Okay, Issue Rivers. I'm trying to give some translations where I can, because there's some of these names that are just coming from the African culture that there's just no translation to them. Or if there is, I don't know them. Okay? And the actual Pomajira that works in this line is Pomajira Rainha, Pomajira Queen, of the 7 crossroads, or Pomajira Rainha das Sete Encruzilhadas. Okay? Now, I've had people ask me this multiple times. Gio, Do I need to learn Portuguese? Do I need to learn Yoruba to practice Kimbanda? Do I need to learn Yoruba or Portuguese to practice Kimbanda? The answer is no. You can, but there's also Google Translate, and also there's me. And the spirits also speak English, Spanish, or whatever language the medium speaks. Some of them speak more. Okay? So the second line is the line of souls, Linha das Almas. Okay? And the chief of this is Ishu Omolu. Okay? Now, don't get it confused with the Umbanda's Umbanda saint known as Omolu, the saint of the cemetery. There is, of course, Orisha Omolu, but there's also spirit called Ishu Omolu, who ironically works in a cemetery as well. Okay, two different beings. Okay, so they're known as the laid back people. They're passive. They don't like to fight, but don't give them a reason to. Okay. One second. Again, these are notes that I've written in Portuguese. I'm trying to translate them as we go along. So the chief is Ishu Mulu, all right, and the 7 issues that fall under and the Pomajira that fall under are as follows: Ishu Mirim, which I've said before is a teenager form of Ishu. If you look back at my last video where I talk about issues. The second one is Ishu Pimenta or Ishu Pepper. The third one is Ishu Sete Montanhas, Ishu Seven Mountains. The fourth one is Ishu Ganga. There's no really translation, to my understanding. The fifth one is Ishu Kaminoa. There's no translation, to my understanding. Ishu Malay, also no translation. Seventh is Ishu Kirombo. To my understanding, there's no translation as well. Okay. Then the eighth, you have Pomajira das Almas. All right. So the third line that you have, okay, that fall under these 3 divinities, is the line of the cemetery, okay, directly of the cemetery, and of all issues that correspond under the name of a skull or skeleton, however you guys would like to say it. Okay, Ishu Caveira translates to Ishu skull. That's why I say it. Okay. Some people like to say Ishu skeleton. I really like going for the verbatim, word by word translation. Okay. So Ishu skull, obviously. All right. Basically, it takes care of the cemetery. The cemetery is not the end. The cemetery is the beginning. Okay. A lot of people think that you die, that's over. No, cemetery is a new beginning. That's why a lot of, for example, warlocks, wizards, and tatas of Kimbanda, they don't like killing people. The reason being is they want them to suffer, and they know if they kill them, that's an early release because they're gonna be a spirit and they have the opportunity to grow and relinquish. So the 7 issues that correspond under Ishu skull, all right, in the cemetery, are as follows: Ishu Tata Caveira, all right, or Ishu Master Caveira, Ishu Brasa, or Ishu how do you say it? Ishu, like you know that when you light the charcoal or light the wood, and you have those little flames that shoot up. That translates to Ishu Brasa. Okay. Third is Ishu Pemba or Ishu Chalk. Okay. Fourth is Ishu Lodo, which is a very good friend of mine. Ishu of Sludge. Okay. He's a very heavy Ishu. He usually works in swamps, but also falls under the cemetery because of the jobs that he does. Okay. The fifth, I'm sorry, is Ishu Karangola, no translation. Okay. Number 6 is Ishu Hankatoku. All right. Ishu Hankatoku means Ishu take hat. He's actually crosses between being Caboclo and being an Ishu in Umbanda. Okay. So number 8, Pomajira Rainha do Cemitério, or Pomajira Queen of the Cemetery. All right. So the fourth one is the actual line of Nago. All right, it's the most powerful line that exists. Okay, And usually when we do our foundations, because each issue has to have their foundation, I can't show mine on camera, security reasons. But usually when you're gonna do a foundation of issue of in the line of Nago, it has to be made of pure iron, okay, because of how powerful it is. Okay, so let me just read here. Let me read over my notes. All right. So the master of this line is the chief of this line is known as Ishu Jirere. Ishu Jirere is actually very, very, very powerful Ishu known in Brazil and feared in Brazil. He's known to do a lot of magic and ancestral magic as well. All right. Now, this is a very dangerous line in Kimbanda, and yes, Kimbanda is dangerous. Okay. However, this line here you have to be very careful with. Okay, we're not talking about Umbanda. Okay, Umbanda is completely out the picture. Kimbanda, you have to have utmost respect for his shoes and even fear some of them. Okay, this line here, the name's about to say, there is shoes that are very feared because of one slip up and you're dead. They will kill you. Okay, they have to be treated with the most utmost respect. And when you do magic with these spirits, it's something you have to be sure that you want to follow through. You can't fall back when you do magic with these spirits, okay, with these issues. The first one is issue quebra galho, or issue break branches. The second is issue sete cruzes, or seven crosses, issue seven crosses. The third is issue giramundo, issue world spinner. The fourth is issue of the cemetery, issue do cemitério. The fifth is my issue, my father, issue capa preta, or issue black cape. The sixth one is issue curador, or issue healer. The seventh is issue ganga. The eighth, Pomagira, the first Pomagira, of course. Pomagira Maria Padilha das Almas, the most famous Pomagira in Brazil. Pomagira Maria Padilha, that's her name. Das Almas, of souls. Okay, that's her line. These issues, I will express it again. Of course, spirituality should be taken very seriously. However, in Kimbanda, it's not something where you can half-ass it. It's not something where you can decide, I want to join, but now I want to back out. No. Okay? Umbanda, you have that liberty, because Umbanda, it's love, peace. Okay? We understand. However, in Kimbanda, this is why I don't initiate any godchild in Kimbanda yet. Because Kimbanda is something very serious. Okay? Kimbanda is sacrifices, blood sacrifices. Okay? It's something, some energy that's very, very heavy. All right. The fifth line that we have is the line of Mossurubi. I do not know how to translate that. That's from Yoruba. The chief of that line is called Ishu Kaminola, that I was speaking about earlier. So these issues, they're known to harm people. Okay, they're the ones that they call upon to inflict mental pain on somebody and mental torture. Okay, uh, they understand the human mind really well. Okay, and their ancestrals, the ancestrals of this line, they were from the Zulu tribe and the Kafet tribe. Uh, and they work a lot with the mental state of the human mind. Okay, so of course people, you like to use them to harm people, but you can also use them to try to clear your mind. Bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, of course, not guaranteed, because you have to have a tata or a master that knows what he's doing. Okay, no job is guaranteed in spirituality unless you have a master that knows what the hell he's doing. I've seen it countless times where people use these issues and it backfires on them because they do not have a tata that knows what they're doing. Okay, so the seven issues is issue dos ventos, issue of winds, issue morcego, which is issue bat. Third issue sete portas, or issue seven doors. The fourth issue tranca tudo, issue lock everything. The fifth is issue marabá, not to be confused with marabô. Number six is issue sete sombras, which is a very good friend of mine, issue seven shadows. The seventh is issue calunga. So Kalunga, there's not really a translation because Kalunga Pequena is a cemetery, Kalunga Grande is the ocean. So there's not really a translation for that. And the Pombagira that works is, my Pombagira personally is Pombagira Maria Mulambo. Maria Mulambo, that's her name, Maria Mulambo. Um, she is she's the one, that cleans paths and cleans the mental slate as well. Okay. The sixth one is actually something that's going to confuse a little bit of you guys, because I was speaking earlier about Umbanda and how Umbanda has caboclos. Well, Kimbanda has caboclos as well, but they're not really caboclos. They're more Exus. Okay, they don't call them caboclos. They call them Exus. All right. All right. So the first one is Exu Seven Waterfalls. Second, Exu Tronqueira. I don't know how to translate Tronqueira. Third one is Exu Sete Porais. Don't know how to translate that one either. Exu das Matas. The fourth one, Exu of the Matas. I guess you could say Exu the of, of the forest, I believe. Floresta, no. Exu das Matas. Exu of wildlife, I guess. Yeah, Issue of the wildlife. The fifth one is Issue Sete Pedras, or Issue Seven Rocks. The sixth one is Issue de Cheiro, or Issue of Smell. The seventh one is Issue Pedra Negra, or Issue Black Rock. All right, and the Pombagira works with that is Pombagira Figueira, or Pombagira Fig. The seventh one, these are. Give me 1 second. So this one here is are the issues of the streams. Okay. In Kimbanda, these are not really seen as issues. You're seen as Kiumbas or smart spirits. Okay. Um, 1 second. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so the chief of this line is called Issue dos Rios, Issue of Streams. Okay, they come and they're Kiumbas or smart spirits that deceive others. They come under several names, but you already know with the names that they have that they're not really issues of law or issues of Kimbanda. They do work in Kimbanda, but they like to call themselves issues or Pomagiras, but they have not earned those titles yet. Okay, and you find some issues with the names like Issue Desespero or Issue of Despair, Issue Three Crossroads, Issue Três Encruzilhadas, Pomagira Tatuado or Pomagira Tattooed, Issue Vingança or Issue Revenge, Pomagira do Abismo or Pomagira of the Abyss, and there's a lot more names that they use, okay? But people in Kimbanda, these are issues that are not really worked with because they're not considered issues, okay? They just like to call themselves issue, but they're Kiumbas, all right? Now, Kimbanda will get it twisted. Kimbanda works with Kiumbas, they work with zombiteiros, they work with vampires, they work with all the negative energies as well as issues as well, and Pomagiras, okay? Now, this video here, I know it's going to confuse a lot of you guys, simply because in Umbanda, this was completely left field, because Umbanda, I taught you guys something different, and I want to get something very clear. My main practice in my religion is Umbanda, all right? My temple is Umbanda. I got a lot of requests from you guys to talk about the issues of Kimbanda. Now, Kimbanda has their practices, has their ways, all right? Umbanda, for us, we have our different ways of practicing things, okay? For example, for us, Exu Morcego, for example, comes in the line of Ogum in the cemetery, okay? Not in the line of mental state. Exu Capa Preta comes in the line of Ogum in the cemetery, and he works in the cemetery, okay? What's another example I can give you? Exu Hay, for example, for us is not Lucifer or Astaroth or Asmodee. For us, Exu Hay is Exu King. Okay, there's no correlation. Okay, like I said, There's a fine difference between Umbanda and Kimbanda. This video is purely Kimbanda, okay? Do not associate anything in this video with anything that I taught or anything I'm going to teach about Umbanda. The only reason why I really did this video is because a lot of you guys wanted to know what's the difference between the issues of Umbanda and Kimbanda, alright? So, with that being said, hope you guys have a great day, have a blessed day. Eshu te abençoe, Eshu bless you, okay? If you guys have any questions whatsoever, drop them down below, okay? One thing that I did want to address that I heard people asking me in a past video was, Gio, you work with the Eshu Beelzebub, right? Well, if you work with the Eshu Beelzebub, aren't you satanic? And well, here's the response. Like I said previously in the video, Eshu Beelzebub was once a demon who converted into Christianity somewhat. Okay, now in Umbanda, you're not gonna really see people working with Eshu Beelzebub, and neither in Kimbanda, because it's very, very rare. Now there are very rare cases that Eshus of Kimbanda have to work with people from Umbanda because that's who they were assigned or that's who they agreed to work with before they came to Earth. Okay, of course everything could change when you're here. Positions could change, different spirits could come forward, but that's usually what you get, right? And you also adopt issues of your ancestors, right? Your grandmother, great grandmother, tata grandmother, you know. So my Eshu Beelzebub came for me with 7 lives already, okay? So it's not something I cultivated just in this life. It's something that's been with me, so I just can't change who I worked with just because I'm working in Umbanda. I don't use them to harm people. I use them for defense, and I use them to open paths, okay? Of course, other people use them other ways, but this is how I use my Beelzebub and my force, all right? Now, if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Comment, like, and subscribe, all right? And tune in tomorrow for a new video.